All right, Friday, 5 o'clock. Let's do this. Let's hit the books alongside the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Joey Knish, producer extraordinaire, Zach Phillips. I'm merely Brad Powers. Before we recap last night's best bets, before we start diving into a heavy, good, solid Week 6 college football card, let me remind everybody that Hit the Books is brought to you by BetStamp. The easiest way to improve as a sports bettor is to use multiple sports books and always get the best odds. We recommend using an odds comparison tool like BetStamp. BetStamp compares odds across every sportsbook for games, futures, and player props. You can save time and money by checking BetStamp before you bet. Download the BetStamp app today. If you're looking to sign up for a new sportsbook account, please check out the offers available at betstamp.app/hitthebooks, or you can hit the link in the description. If you sign up through this page, it does help support the show. Speaking of supporting the show, we always like to see everybody in the chat. It's pretty live already. Live viewership, we have been breaking records, it seems like, every single show. If you are viewing live, make sure you're hitting that like and subscribe button. Knish, what's happening, my main man?
Oh, baby. Feeling good. Little Friday action here. Our Sam Houston boys. I wrote that in the loss column last night. I had Sam Houston at way too many numbers, some of them very bad, including the one we got. And so really nice to see a game last night that usually when it's steaming through key numbers, 18, 19, 20, 21, that usually tells you the story. But, hey, they were competitive, first and goal to win the game last night. So, hey, no complaints with, the Bearcats' effort last night, and hopefully get it going on the weekend.
Yeah, Louisiana Tech we also had, unfortunately, that was more me than you, I think. So they did not get off to a good start, rallied back, but we took a loss there with La Tech +6. But you're right on Sam Houston State. I wrote it off as a loss. I mean, they got as high as 22 in the marketplace, and that game day steam on small games this year has been pretty accurate. Yep. That was the first times where it's been dead wrong because Sam Houston State's defense came to play. That offense is improving. So
totally changed the scheme from the first few weeks. Like, it looks like a different, very Iowa State-ish, where they had a complete dud for the first month, looked pretty good against Jacksonville State, and the last one, they don't have the greatest skill talent in the world, or the greatest quarterback in the world, but looked really lively last night. The play calling, everything was much better, and the defense came to play. So yeah, that was kind of a no doubter. They might be a play on team for me, again.
Yeah, I think they are. I liked seeing the reaction. Obviously disappointed, but I think there's still some positivity there. And I mean, they played a tough schedule. I mean, are you kidding me? BYU, Air Force, Houston, Jacksonville State is 5-1 now. Liberty is still unbeaten. That's a pretty tough schedule for a team transitioning from the FCS. So as the competition gets softer, I think this is a play on team. Speaking of play on, let's see if we can find some play on spots as far as Week 6. College football. Let's get right to the chat. Patrick Burns first up. Was someone releasing plays this morning? Tons of movement on some of the marquee games. When is somebody not releasing plays in this marketplace this year? It's
all week now, baby. There is no I remember the old days of you get a little Monday, you get a little Tuesday. That's over with. It's just a complete free for all. The market. I thought it was a little less active last week. Been really bouncing around today, especially as Patrick said, with some of the key games battling back and forth today. I'll have my Friday report here from some of the guys that trust if we want to go into that later. But yeah, there's been some big moves.
We will definitely get to that. But yeah, there has been a lot more movement than last week. There's like 2 or 3 big ones last week. They proved to be correct. Today was different. It was a lot more. But I mean, it's a very different marketplace than last year. I thought I had all the answers last year. I mean, I'll give you an quick example. I mean, there's a group releasing on Monday night during Monday Night Football, like 15 totals, just steaming like 15 totals every Monday night during Monday Night Football. So that's new. A lot of new things in the market this year. Arthur in the chat, lots of disagreement. Cal, Oregon State, leaning 8 or 9.5. I mean, you can get 7.5 now if you want to lay it with Oregon State. I'm on the Cal side, but I never got there. I understand the Cal money, but I needed 10 to get heavily involved, and I'm Mr. Cal. You like Oregon State in this one, don't you?
No. Listen, I was actually aligned with you on looking for a Cal with 10. I don't know
That's
if it
right. You were.
got here very briefly early in the week, I think, for a minute. Didn't really last. I was on the same wavelength, so I was kind of looking to back Cal at 10. Didn't get there. Got bought down. I think now it's fair. I doubt we see anything under a 7. Probably trades here in the money. So I like Oregon State as a team. This matchup, though, laying over a touchdown, not for me.
Okay, we might come back to that one. See, I thought we disagreed on that one. My mistake. Joe in the chat, Joe Boat. Thoughts on Kansas State, Oklahoma State tonight? We might as well get to those two games. Buying too high on Kansas State this week. I lean Oklahoma State, but I mean, this just screams a spot that Gundy rallies the troops off a bye after they looked pathetic the first month of the season. But I mean, I made 50 bets. It was just a bet. So Oklahoma State for me. What say you, Knish?
I don't. I didn't get involved here. Obviously, some of the early Kansas stuff, Kansas State numbers got away. I wouldn't lay it anymore. I understand. They've got an opportunity to ugly the game up. With Gundy and that. With that said, been a tough team to back. So I don't have any. Yeah. I did lay some. Usually, what I do on game days on some of these games with the lower totals, the short spreads, is kind of wait a team and see if I can get a cheap money line. I took some Illinois money line tonight.
Okay.
I'm actually, you know what? I think they have the opportunity. I really think Nebraska's offensive line could struggle tonight against an Illinois front that I do respect in terms of that matchup. Now that it came down a bit, it got to a price where I was okay with it. Anything, not a best bet, not a huge bet. Took some Illinois. I think I got like minus 145 on the exchange. There's some minus 150 out there. Nothing crazy, but laid some Illinois money line tonight.
Good news for you. I took Nebraska plus 3.5, so you'll probably be on the winning side there. Just to let you know.
Hey, or Illinois by 1, 2, or 3, baby.
There you go. We'll see on that one. Yeah, not again, just a bet tonight on that one. Steve in the chat, Brad, curious your thoughts. Ooh, some action. Action is getting some money right before we hit live on the show. Akron plus 5.5, Texas Tech money line, Miami, Ohio minus 9. I kind of like Akron. I made that bet. I mean, even with the backup. Be interesting to see who the backup is. A lot of people speculation that might not be under Kuffler at quarterback for Akron. So I do lean with the Zips there. Nothing big. Texas Tech money line. I did bet Texas Tech this week. Miami, Ohio. Haven't gotten to the window yet. A lot of respected money. Second week in a row on BG. I'm not there yet because I watched the BG Georgia Tech game and BG showed me something. So I'm anxious. I mean, I don't like the coach and they rarely show that kind of stuff week after week, but it was good enough where I don't want to back Miami, Ohio. Did you take part of this BG money here late in the week?
Yeah, that was about an hour ago. Some of the big Friday, one of the serious Friday groups hit BG and bought up all the 10s out there. And then even it was getting bought down. Some places moved to 7.5. So, Friday in terms of if you're, the very, very liquid groups out there is definitely the moving day for kind of some of the biggest crews. And so BG was a big buy. Akron, I agree. And heard the same things. Some of the same people that if it was under Kuffler, I'd be out. But supposedly they like this other guy. His name's not even coming to me at the moment, but we'll see. And so, because I tell you what, if he can play, even somewhat, is under Kuffler obviously is a significant downgrade. But DJ Irons was playing great. If he can play anywhere around that level, big if. I think Akron can get it done here. They're significantly the better side. So, it's one. Again, anytime you're getting a new quarterback that you haven't seen before, a little lighter position for me. But yeah, Akron's the way I'd play it.
Yeah, Taj Bullock, Virginia Tech transfers, the kid. Under Kuffler did start the Northern Illinois game last year, and they crushed Northern Illinois for Akron. Just a nugget. So, we'll see what happens there. Thomas in the chat, if you like Texas this weekend, is it worth it to lock in a minus 130 money line for the Big 12 title or maybe a minus 105 to make the playoffs? You're good with this stuff, man. What say you on that? I mean, we already we took them in the Big 12 already, didn't we?
Yeah, and you know what? That would be I would much prefer it. Basically, if they win this week, they're, as you said, a lot to make the title game. Doesn't mean they win the title game, but you'd be sitting on a minus 130 where they're playing the second best team in the conference and they're a 5-point fave, minus
at least
around there. So that would be the playoff. The thing being that with kind of some of the, the Big 12 not being so dynamic this year, I don't know if they drop a game, if they happen to lose one of the games versus the lesser teams or this weekend, I don't know if they have that kind of margin for error. So I would much prefer the Big 12 championship bet there than the make the playoff.
Speaking of some future stuff, Tom in the chat, USC +3 -117 at Notre Dame next week at Bet Rivers, worth considering. I made that bet this week, not +3. I didn't even need a 3. I took +2 DraftKings.
Yeah, I made that bet at that place, yep. At that exact place. So yeah, I like that, Tommy. I like that quite a bit. I would be surprised unless USC lays an egg this week or something. If that game wasn't closer to pick, then I don't see any scenario outside of Caleb Williams getting hurt or something like that, or they lose outright to Arizona, where they're getting a field goal or more next week. This run of games that Notre Dame is on is just absolutely insanity. Yep. So I think that kind of catches up to it. Meanwhile, USC's been playing first halves and then sleepwalking through, half the schedule. So I like that 3. I like it quite a bit if you got access to it.
The town in me screams that game next week, 5-star game of the year, USC. Just telling you.
Oh, baby.
Yeah. I didn't know if your mic was working. I didn't know what the hell that was.
You left me speechless. I was waiting for a 5-star GOY for this year. So I love it at 3. I mean, if you got access to that 3, I don't know. Some people, I don't know. We give these look aheads out, and then people are like, you're talking about. We talk about it on the fucking show. Go bet the 3. Go call your cousin.
Bet
it. Bet Rivers Central and go bet it. So there's no way it's a field goal next week unless something insane happens this week. So if you got access to it, bet it.
Yep, agree. David in the chat, Fresno. Oh, this will be an interesting discussion. A lot of you talk about confliction in the marketplace. Fresno -5.5. Talk me out of it. I can't. Maybe Knish will be the one to talk you out of it. I like Fresno. There's a war in the marketplace on this game, along with a few games this week. I like Fresno. I think Wyoming's a fraud. You just changed 2 plays in their season. What is this line? And that would be one of the 3 missed field goals that Texas Tech had that would have put that game away. Wyoming the right side, but probably shouldn't have won the game. And then the blocked field goal return for a touchdown against App State with under 2 minutes left. I like Fresno.
I can't get there on this one. And I'm not coming in and saying like, oh, Wyoming, baby, 5-star game. It's been a really, really soft schedule for Fresno going into a place that is historically very tough to play and a defense that I think will give them some challenges. I just don't want to lay a touchdown here. So you got it under 6, obviously a little, value there compared to what's at market. It's just a game that I totally stayed away from.
Austin in the chat, we playing Temple +14.5. I'd play it at 14.5. But keep in mind the reason it's 14.5. Frank Harris is going to come back, wide receiver back for UTSA. I think it'll be a little bit of rust, might be a little bit of weather. So I certainly, because of all those factors, I would lean more towards the Temple side. What say you?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think, and I've mentioned this a few times on the show, that anytime you've got a quarterback injury, first game back, you just said it, Russ. I wouldn't expect Frank Harris to be at 100% of himself. And it's a Temple offense that, when they're not playing like Miami or something, I think can move the ball pretty well in EJ Warner. So I like getting over 2 TDs there, 14 in the hook. You want to give that? I mean, is that a best bet?
Yeah, best bet. There we go.
Yeah,
I didn't even know it went to
14.
I honestly didn't even know it went to 14.5. I like that 14.5 best bet.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I just listen. If Frank Harris comes out and slices and dices, then okay. Well, it's just very rare that you see a QB. I'm not totally convinced either that he's going to be back to 100%. That turf toe is something that can linger. And I keep going back to like when he first was injured and you saw him, like he couldn't even walk normally. So do I think he's going to be back and running around? I have some skeptical, plus the rust, as you said, getting over 2 touchdowns here. I like it. I don't think UTSA is really that good either, even with Frank Harris. I think they are a team that is still like overvalued in terms of what they are. They're not last year's team.
Let's do an odds comparison real quick. Temple's last home game, they're getting 24 against Miami. So I can do second grade math. 24 minus 14.5. Are you laying 9.5 against Miami versus UTSA on a neutral?
Five-star game of
yeah,
the year.
Yeah. So this seems a little expensive on UTSA right now.
I agree.
Yeah.
This is like if Frank Harris there was like in the Heisman conversation, then I'd be paying. I don't know. This is it's. I can't get to this number. Even if Frank Harris was 100% healthy, I couldn't get here. So the fact that I think we could be limited, give me the 14.5.
Agree. Good best bet there. Love it. Charles in the chat. Well, I'll give you some actionable info here. Is Montana an FCS fade? Yeah, they are an FCS fade. This is a Montana team. Almost lost to a Division II team in Ferris State. Then lost outright as a 17-plus point favorite to Northern Arizona. Then almost lost outright as a 3-touchdown favorite last week. I tweeted out a video 2 weeks ago about the body language is as bad as any team in college football right now. They're playing UC Davis tomorrow. I would be betting UC Davis. So there you go.
Ferris State, very elite Division II program from.
Had Montana. Outplayed Montana. Should have won the game.
Don't sell the bull. I think it's the Bulldogs short there, my friend. I know some people that have played at Ferris State. A lot of pride in that program.
There you go. Rooftop Korean, Colorado first quarter minus a half, plus 112. I'm not there. You know what? I like Arizona State in this game. I rewatched the Arizona State Cal game. I like what I'm seeing from Arizona State energy-wise. I love that Scadaboo kid that they're using. Now, he's eventually going to run out of gas because they use him everywhere on the field. But they have not given up. That 8-turnover performance against Fresno State's long behind them. Last 2 weeks against Cal and USC, they've looked okay. And I wonder if Colorado's running out of gas. I mean, 5 straight big-time high-profile games. This is kind of a sleepy game on the road. Arizona State for me. Outright.
100% with you. That was also part of the Friday very sharp crew action report I got. Arizona State was a play earlier today. Got hit all the fours. They bought up some money line. And I agree with it. And if you got access, I actually had somebody that has access to the King of Sportsbooks bet that 4.5. That's still, so I don't know. Maybe the King of Sportsbook love Dion. They don't want to move him. Maybe he's a sponsor. Still some 4.5 there if you got access there. So I bet that. Bet some plus 150 money line. Like Arizona State, I agree. Outright. If you want to give it best bet, I'm with you.
Arizona State plus 3.5. Best bet. Right? Yeah, we got 4.5. So we got 4.5, sir. 1, 2, 3. What do we do? Zach, you decide there. What do you think the fair number is? I'll let you guys decide.
Let's see what Zach's morals are at here.
Yeah, he's a little bit more. Yeah, we're a little bit immoral compared to Zach.
Hey, 3.5. If it lands 4, you can blame. We can blame Phillips.
Yeah, that would be good material for Monday. 3.5. I'm okay with 3.5. Again, I think Arizona State wins. Ronnie in the chat. Brad, big fan. Big fan of not winning this year? No, I'm kidding. I'm not. It's been a tough start. Your opinion on Old Dominion this week and Connecticut plus 9.5? I didn't bet either. I didn't bet either side. I bet the totals in those 2 games. I like the Old Dominion Southern Miss over. I saw Southern Miss take a little bit of money today. Connecticut Rice. I don't know. I haven't had a good feel on Rice games this year. I kind of leaned over there. I thought Connecticut found some offense last week, so I just bet the over in both of those games. Did you do anything with those, Knish?
I agree with you on the over, but obviously we were a little earlier number in the week on the Old Dominion Southern Miss game. I didn't get involved in the Connecticut game. I know Rice covered last week. JT Daniels was obviously not 100%, so maybe he's better this week. And I haven't really wanted to get involved in backing UConn. So. Yeah, that's one I just don't have a strong take on either way. If I knew Daniels was ready to go, would I lay a little Rice? Probably, but I obviously he's going to play. He was definitely not himself last week, so that kept me off it.
Yeah, I tweeted this out, the Rice-East Carolina game last week. East Carolina won the box score. East Carolina got stopped on 4th and short at the 1-yard line. Oof, and a game that they lost by 7. Game of inches. Luke in the chat, USF minus 3.5. I didn't get a better number than that right now. Didn't we see finally some buyback on UAB If you wanted to lay 3, don't lay 3.5. I think you can lay at least 3. I mean, it's been there's a few 3s out there. I can't bet it now. I bet USF early in the week. I can't do it now. I mean, I don't like the Dilfer. You like them more than I do, but I mean, they've been fighting the last couple of weeks against Georgia. Tulane, they were very live in that game. Another fumble at the goal line. They fumbled in the end zone. Otherwise, they might have won that game outright. So nothing for me there. Lean over to.
Yeah, I don't have anything there either. UAB's been kind of a very hard team to put a quality rating on in terms of their variance of performances. And as you said, they've been playing hard and everything, competing in these games. I haven't won any of them, which is hurting our head-to-head win total here for Joey.
Hurting you, not me. Helping me. Hurting you.
But no, I think 3's the right. If it got back through 3, then I'd be a little interested in USF. Other than that, it's probably a pass.
USF might be going to a bowl first year under Golish. Looking good. Mickey Hill in the chat. Army minus 2.5. Yeah, I certainly lean that way. I don't understand the BC love here. Army off a bye. That I thought they played well against a better ACC team in Syracuse. So yeah, Army for me. What say you?
Me too. Was waiting for it to get through 3 and bought a little 2.5 up today. So yeah,
I want a best bet on that one.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm
there
okay.
We go.
Was kind of waiting all week to see if it would on the radar, see if it would get there. It got there. Took a little bit. So yeah, I'm with that.
Boom,
on the 2.5.
Yep, made it 3.5 through a key number. Love it. Another best bet. That's why you guys watch the Friday show. We have even more best bets. We're not all about the early week stuff. We are giving you highly liquid market best bets. That's what I'm talking about. Ben in the chat. Ooh, what do the Nishi Moles have on Milroe? I think he's healthy. I got this from a guy that, is pretty tight. He told me before everything broke today. He told me last night, he said, meh, it's a tweak, but everything should be full go. I thought the market responded this morning. What say you?
Yeah, that was another one of the big Friday group moves there. What was Bama pick earlier today? I agree. I think it was a bit of an overreaction in terms of the initial reports where was he going to play and all that. So yeah, I think he played. With that said, I think the line now is pretty fair. I would have had Bama a small favorite in this game, and now they're back to being a small favorite. If he was going to be out, then I would have been okay. Lay A&M, up to 2.5 because I think it's such a substantial downgrade as we've seen when they tried Buckner and Simpson, but. With him going, and now the latest info, seeing that he's seemingly going to be healthy enough to be at a well, obviously we'll see during the game, but I think this line's pretty fair now. So I don't have any action on it where it's at now.
Yep, I agree. I made it right around 2.5. This is where we should be. So I do have a breaking announcement. We are approaching a live audience record.
Oh,
over
baby.
460 people watching right now. That's pretty good. I like it. There's some forward progress with the amount of views that we have.
Yeah, we're a lot of forward progress on this show, not so much on some other shows on this network.
Love it. The Caudill family, Kentucky first half plus 7.5. I'm anxious to hear. And then Enoch also in the chat, Kentucky plus 14.5 all day. Not my day. Twice on Sunday and tomorrow on Saturday. I am a Georgia Bulldog. I'll lay the points. What say you, Knish?
Yeah, this is one that I just – you keep waiting for, I've gotten burned, with the Georgia wake up. Here it comes. This is one that, I did bet, a little bit of, I think minus 14, minus 115 or something, paid a little extra juice for the flat 14. That's where I was, it was on it. And again, I know Kentucky came out and had an absolute rager last week. And it's been a very, very modest Georgia team. And we're getting to that point in the season where maybe it's like this just is who they are. However, I think there's some Devin Leary issues here where you saw Ray Davis go crazy last week. What you didn't really pay attention to was Leary was bad in that game. There's some reports that his shoulder is not right. He's been inaccurate. And this is a game where if you get down a little bit, also I think this is Kentucky's first true road game of the season going into Athens. If they get down 7-10, Georgia's been having these awful, awful starts. If you don't get one of those, and it's a game where Kentucky's got to come from behind and throw it, I don't see it. Dogs for me.
Best bet or wait?
I need a – this is one of the ones –
14?
Yeah. I'd have to have a 14 here. If you got to
You might get it. You might get it tomorrow.
Yep. So this is one that I'm sure this will be like Arkansas State, where Georgia wins 31-3, and we're like, oh, why didn't we give out 14.5? But if you got access, guys, to a 14 or a little bit of a cheaper 14, that's a play.
Michael in the chat, Miami Hurricanes, first half minus 10.5, minus 11.5. Where are you on this one? I'm actually more Georgia Tech than I am Miami. You're Mr. Miami.
I am Mr. Miami. This number, though, got a little bit of a way. Georgia Tech also made some staff changes. I think you're going to see a little bit new. They demoted the DC. They're going to try, so a little bit of a, schematic type deal. Their defense had been like horrific to this point. A little bit, I think we've gotten to the peak of the Miami market here in terms of this number. I know some friends of the show played some Georgia Tech at 21. Some other guys I know played Miami at like minus 19.5. So I think the number's about right here. I wouldn't be. My concern would be here. Georgia Tech gives Miami some new looks here on defense first half. Maybe it takes them a little bit to adjust to it. So to be honest with you, I'd probably lean the other way too, especially at some of those 11.5s that are out there. Even though I am Hurricane Knish this season, it would be Georgia Tech or nothing for me in this game.
Good deal. Nicholas in the chat, thoughts on LSU minus 5.5? That was another team that got steamed today. Surprising, honestly. It was one-way Missouri money all week long. Minus 4 today. LSU took some big-time money. I like to see that because I'm on LSU. What say you?
Yeah, this is one that, you know what? Listen, if you got I'll give the show cop out. If you got an LSU minus 4, which I know both of us were invested in, took some serious money at minus 4. If it got a 7 when I was early of the week in Missouri, I think this 5.5 is right where it should be. And so that's one of those. I give out the advice sometimes on this show, especially with the premier games. You're going to have it on the TV. If you get LSU live, something under 3. If you get Missouri over a TD, depending on what happens the first score, that's how I'd play it. That to me is, one of those. I think it's right where it should be now. So I wouldn't have a play on it where it's at. I appreciate some of the YB crossover listeners, though, that are letting me know that that WNBA under got steamed. So yeah, that was hopefully you got in on some. If you listen to Joey K on YB, that was our random play of the week.
Connor in the chat, Brad, thoughts on a week where the market doesn't like your plays? Well, why should it like my plays? I haven't been very good this year. It's an interesting market. It liked my Louisiana Tech play last night. That was a wrong play. Didn't like Sam Houston State and proved to be wrong. So I don't know. Normally I'd be worried that in this year's market, not as worried. So I guess the plays would be Michigan. I got to tell you, man, I watched the Michigan-Nebraska game. I'm okay. I'm okay laying that number. So I'm telling you, if I get anything near what Michigan played against Nebraska, I'm going to be okay against Minnesota. I just am. That was a beatdown, man. That was not because they were +5 in turnovers. They just lined it up, went right at Nebraska, and beat the ever-living shit out of them. I mean, it was one of the more impressive performances I've seen this year. That's what national title teams do. That's what like an Alabama, Georgia's been doing in college football the last 10, 15 years. So if we get that Michigan, I'm okay with that one. The other one, UCLA, I'm okay with that one. We laid 3. Market kind of agrees. Mr. Muscles
I saw
agrees.
your buddy Mr. Muscles on that one too today. Gave it out earlier. So that's another sharp war there. Any of the 3s, get bought up, he gets back to 4, it gets bought up. So I think that's another one. A lot of these marquee games, they're kind of, by Friday afternoon here, those ones are shaped pretty good. And you've seen it. If you pay attention to the market and you see the two-way buyback back and forth, you can kind of see where the right number is.
Yep. Let's keep it going. Arkansas Ole Miss over 62. Does KJ air it out against this trash Ole Miss defense? I mean, that's where I would lean. I'm worried about Arkansas running out of gas a little bit. This is their 4th straight tough game. But I certainly lean over. What say you? I will say this. There was a misleading higher scoring game, A&M, Arkansas last week. 3 defensive touchdowns or 3 non-offensive touchdowns. So sometimes I don't like playing. After a game like that, I don't like playing the over.
No, that's fair. And I will say, friend of the show, Colin Wilson, I actually listened to him this week. He's always plugged in on Arkansas. They did a major offensive line reshuffle this week. They moved the center out, and they put like their worst offensive lineman in at center, changed up like 3 different positions. I am not. To me, that reeks of desperation. It also reeks of something that is more, in terms of how it works out, I would say 80% disaster, 20% it actually works. So yeah, I don't have a lot of faith in the Hogs this week. I don't like that whatsoever. I don't like the Dan Enos, the offense they've been running. So I actually know some folks here that laid some Mississippi today. That would be the Ole Miss would be the only side I'd be looking. I think it's over pretty soon for Mr. Pittman. Zach in the chat says, friend of the show, Colin Wilson. New friend of the show. You guys made the the broke bread in Vegas. Hey, listen, I don't know. Sometimes, his power ratings get a little wonky. But hey, I like listening to the guy talk college football. So hey, I'll give him credit on the end. He knows Arkansas, so I'll give him credit for that tidbit there. And kind of that's a quality piece of info. We did break bread, and we break. Well, somebody will quote that move. We did break bread and made up over my last couple of years as far as the power ratings. I will still get after him if he has bad power ratings next year, though. That will not change. Mickey Hill in the chat. South Alabama down to 10. I like South Alabama minus 10, but I respect the money on UL Monroe. They played App State pretty tough. South Alabama has been a major disappointment outside the Oklahoma State game. What say you on that one? Yeah, I didn't get involved there. I know there was some money coming in against them there. That's one that I was kind of, market around 10, where I thought the number should be. So, yeah, that's one. To be honest with you, that's one of those a couple of games where that, half point either way doesn't kind of keep it. It's a game that I really didn't have on the radar as far as looking to get involved in either way. So, Anthony in the chat, still like Troy over at 52. Yeah, I do like that one. That was a sneaky one. Arkansas State's offense much better the last couple of weeks. Now they're playing a much better defense this week in Troy, but I think Troy's offense will have success against a bad Arkansas State defense. So that was kind of a sneaky over I gave out just because the fundamental change at quarterback for Arkansas State. They got a legitimate playmaker at quarterback. So what say you on that one? I gave that out early in the week. Yeah, no, I'm with you. I like it. I think they improved team to change a quarterback. So no, I'm full with you on that one. There's 51.5. 1, 2, 3 places. I'll own that. 51.5. I like it. Boom. Over. Best bet. Like it. L in the chat. How about Maryland, Ohio State? Oh, we saw a little bit of money come in just recently on Maryland today. I'm not a part of it. I'm honestly a little bit of weather, possibly. I really question strength of schedule for Maryland, to say the least. Buckeyes off a bye. Maryland's really struggled with the Buckeyes, especially in Columbus. Oof. I got really no take. What say you? I don't have a side. We'll go a little Joey props on this one. Passing yardage here for Mr. McCord. Zach, if you can pull that up. Kyle McCord. Kyle McCord. I know. I always have. Yeah, Kyle McCord. I always say like Zach knows everybody in the history. Yeah, you got him. He knows every single player in college football. I went McCord under here. I think it's a game that obviously you said could be a little bit of windy, a little bit of that that Midwest fall weather. I think the biggest advantage Ohio State has here is going to be taking advantage of Maryland's D-line. They've been wanting to, Ryan Day, we want to be tougher and we want to run it and all that. And again, it hasn't always worked, but I think this is a game that they want to line up, want to get a bunch of carries, little bit of weather, a game they should be leading. And if you're getting any type of, comfortable lead, I think they'll really want to have a little bit more usage and Trayvon Henderson and train him and stuff. And so I like the under there. And again, could be, you people think Maryland, Ohio State, bunch of explosives back and forth. I don't totally see it this year. I think Ohio State's playing a little different. Maryland's offense not clicking as well. So, I took some McCord unders there. I think the game script plays out favorably to that. And you'll see Ohio State lean more on the run game. Their defense has also been really good. So this one's more I agree with the under move, and I think they run the ball. So under for me on Mr. McCord, who, to be honest with you, I'm not that big of a fan of as a quarterback anyway. So maybe Maryland gives up a few plays, but I think game plan-wise, they'll be wanting to run the ball here.
Agree. I bet under. It makes me feel better about that. There's a little bit of over money this week, but it seems like the under took a little bit of hit there later in the week. Love it. Philip in the chat. And guys, if you like that kind of content from Knish, we got over 450 people watching right now, almost 500, and only 145 likes. Make sure you're hitting that like button if you want Knish to give you out more great props like he just did. Philip in the chat. Missed Oklahoma at 6.5. Still think they can cover 5 and possibly win. I like Texas. So I mean, that's just me. Maybe I'm too chalky this week. What say you on this game? I don't think you're going to get involved, is my guess.
You'd be the only thing I got involved in was on the under. It clipped over, 61 and a half. I think this is, I gave out under there. I like under 61 quite a bit. I played some 61 and a half. I'm still fine.
That's bet under 61. I bet that.
Yeah, I'm with you there. This is one of those, the occasional, there's occasional like call the shot on the show, like, Jacksonville State, we think they're going to beat Eastern Michigan by a bunch. I think this game goes under substantially. I really like both defenses. I think they match up well against each other. I think this is like a 24-7, 24-20 type of game as opposed to a game that gets played in the 30s. So, I'll have Zach delete that when it's 42, 42-35. Yeah. But I think this is going to be much more of a grinder than an open back and forth shootout type of game, like some of the classic Red Rivers. So, yeah, I like under 61 there quite a bit. I think both these defenses are a bit undervalued. And I think both offenses struggle a little bit more than they have against some of the weaker opponents.
No disagreement. I already bet under early in the week. Makes me feel good. Philip in the chat, Baylor plus 1.5. Too ratty not to take. I don't know. I like the Texas Tech side. I bet Texas Tech this week. Did you do anything with this game? I bet under too. I'm not afraid to go back to the under.
Yeah, that under last week about as bad as it gets. I didn't get involved in this one. I don't like Baylor. I mean, Baylor is just rough. And I know great comeback against UCF, had a bunch of fortune, yada yada. If anything, it would be Texas Tech for me, even though Morton maybe he's still somewhat limited. He wasn't obviously 100% last week, but they were still able to move it on Houston. It would be the only side I'd play, though. I'm just too down on Baylor, even after last week's comeback, to want to back them at any point.
Mickey in the chat, Louisville, Notre Dame under. I see that took a little bit of money earlier today. I like the under. I'm worried about Notre Dame's offensive line. I'm worried about their energy level. Now, I think Louisville might be able to hit some explosives on them, but I don't know. Notre Dame's defense has been pretty good. Under for me. Anything that I've seen the last 2 weeks of Notre Dame's, game flow, game script, playing that slow tempo, and I mean Louisville's offense is big play or not, and Notre Dame hasn't been given up the big play. So yeah, under. I know there's some people like the over here, but I'm not one of them. You like the over?
No. I don't really have a disagreement on it. Just in the game in general. I know this is one of those, a lot of like the spot screams, like to fade Notre Dame. That I tell you what, I just don't think Louisville is any damn good. I watch them. I think for a team that hasn't lost this year, I think they've been very fortunate. They played a soft schedule. I tell you what, watching a lot of that NC State game, I'm like, man, this team just doesn't really have anything to go to. I kind of lean Notre Dame here. I know when there's been some opposition in the market, it got steamed back up, but I kind of think Notre Dame is able to take care of business. And the fade spot for ND is next weekend, as we said earlier in the show, not this week. So I'm not a Louisville believer. And again, I like program wise, the coach and all that, but this week I just think they're outmanned.
Fair enough. I don't disagree with that. I got 3 thoughts on the game. Number 1, Notre Dame's much healthier wide receiver than what they were last week. They were very compromised against Duke. Number 2, I do worry about the energy level for them. But like you mentioned, I mean, go through Louisville's schedule. Rally to beat Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech game didn't age well last week with Georgia Tech losing to BG. Had to stop literally Indiana on the goal line to win that game. Indiana had one of the worst 4th down and 1 calls at the goal line I've ever seen. Who would have thought with Tom Allen? That didn't age well because, Indiana almost lost to Akron the very next week. And then last week, Brendan Armstrong doesn't throw that pick at the start of the 3rd quarter. I'm guessing that Louisville won't have enough to win that game at NC State, an NC State team that Notre Dame went on the road and handled business. So, yeah, I'm conflicted on the game. If I got a 7, I'd probably bet Louisville, but I'm not sure if we're going to see that. John in the chat, Brad, have any love in the big Friday night Ivy showdown? I did. I did a show this morning. Somebody asked me, I don't want to hear your leans or your likes. I need something that you love. And I'm like, I'll tell you what I love right now. I've seen DraftKings has Cornell Harvard tonight at 20. Give me Cornell plus 20. That's what I love. No longer there. I'd still lean Cornell. Did you? I see a lot. I didn't, other than that little show there, I didn't send it out to anybody. Did you take part in this Cornell steam all day?
Yeah. That was the early. I feel, like Cornell at some earlier numbers. But some of my guys even still liked it where it's at now. So I'll let the people decide if they want to join on the Cornell at 13 and a half.
Where's that penny? The penny lean. Minus
145.7.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, it would be a smaller Cornell play for me now where it's at. But yeah, that was the side.
Yeah, I made it 10, so that was way off. FCS has been a dream this year. I just wish the dream. It's been good, I should say. The dream would be able to bet as much on the FCS as I could the FBS. I wouldn't be doing this show. I'd put it that way. I would not be doing this show if I could bet everything I wanted to on the FCS this year. Jason in the chat, Florida Vandy thoughts. Tough game. Actually, Vandy hasn't covered a point spread yet this year. I would bet Vanderbilt. I haven't bet the game yet. I saw some under money come in. I would bet Vanderbilt, though. I can't lay points with this Florida offense.
No, me too. It would be Vandy or nothing for me. I didn't pull the trigger yet. It was 1-on-1 I was monitoring. I got to tell you, though, especially there's some 19s out there now.
Best bet?
I'm in at 19. Yeah, I'm in at 19. Too. I agreed. Florida with margin and the way that their defense was cut up last week, and I know it was Kentucky, that bad spot, all that. This Vandy team has burned me a few times this year, but I don't think the talent gap between these two teams is 19. And I know Vandy's had some injuries; they've been a little banged up. Their offensive line is miserable, all that. 19, and I know as Mickey, they've had some misfortune. They've also been thoroughly outplayed by like Hawaii. So at some point, they're not the team that I thought they could be coming into the year. With that said, 19 too heavy for me. Yeah, I'm actually going to place it while we're talking here.
Yeah, I just go back to I literally watched the entirety of the Florida-Charlotte game. Couldn't get margin on Charlotte. Just it wasn't there. They play too much of a slow tempo, and they're not dominant like a Michigan is up front. And man, that front got run over by Kentucky. That was not a good performance, to say the least, on Florida. We had Florida last week, so it's not like we're very anti-Florida. We bet Florida last week, for Pete's sakes. Steve in the chat, Central Michigan -3. I think they're the right side, but I didn't bet that one. A lot of money all week on the under because of the weather. I'll talk about a bad number. I bet the over early in the week. I got like -3 points of CLV on that over bet. That sucks. Did you bet this one?
Nope, didn't get involved there. I kind of, lean that way with Central, but I agree with you. With some of the weather that was coming in there and the total crashing down. Obviously,
how bad is this weather going to be? Because, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and really check, because some of these games have been steamed down a little too far, in my opinion. If the weather's not going to be that bad, I might rebet this. This might be one that I rebet.
No, that's fair, because there has been a lot of games this year, where like the early week weather report, you get to game day and it's like, it's 10-mile-an-hour winds and it's a little sprinkle of rain. Like, so yeah, I agree. I think if you can check on some of these when they're happening. There was like 1 week where there was really bad weather in the Northeast. Outside of that, most of these weather games have been.
No, they have not been good. They've been negative.
It's significantly overvalued in the market.
Yep, absolutely. Gabriel in the chat, Iowa State +6.5. Wait for a 7, or do you think this gets smaller before kickoff? I bet TCU early in the week. I got nothing as far as the side. I like what I do like is our play on the over. I thought that was sharp.
Yeah, I like the over, like our overplay there quite a bit. Iowa State, and I know they changed the offense. I was part of the cap last week. I don't really know what they got going for them on any part. Their defense is brutal. I know that they're trying to sling it around with this true freshman now. So they are at least, they tried schematically to change the offense a bit. I don't know what they can hang their hat on. Like I watched a lot of that Oklahoma game. And I know that's a different level of opponent, but there's not a unit on their team that I think is above average. I don't have, and again, I know they've had the suspensions and all that, but their offensive line's miserable. Their defense is miserable. They're playing a true freshman at quarterback. I'm not even, it was played some TCU early in the week. Obviously we took over. I'm not even in at 7, to be honest with you.
Like that. Let's push for 200 likes. We're getting there, folks. Let's get 200 likes for the first time as far as the show goes. So if you're watching live, make sure you're hitting that like and subscribe button. Connor in the chat, thoughts on Tulsa plus 3.5 against Florida Atlantic? I didn't get involved on the side here. I think Tulsa's the sharper side, just reading the market tea leaves. Did you bet Tulsa this week?
Early Tulsa number. I think it was only 4 though. Not significantly off market what it is now. But I know there was a little bit of buyback some point in FAU, kind of traded back and forth on Tulsa. I think 3 is about right. I needed over 3 to get involved with Tulsa. I think 3 is okay though. It's not something I'd be looking to get into at the moment. Oh, Rocco asking about Kent State again.
Well, they took some. Yeah.
I feel like they're going to cut. I just feel it in my bones because I'm off the Kent State wagon, and they did take a little money. Rock, yeah, I know you love. I was really wanting a 28, at least a 27.5, 27. Never really saw it. Now it's back down to 25, 26. I'll be praying for you, Rocco. I do. It would be the only side I'd play though. I don't like laying these MAC numbers in this realm unless there's really some massive disparity here, which there could be. But I was looking for a higher buy price. I never got it.
We have broken a record, 562 live viewers. That is a record for us. Congratulations to you guys. Thank you for watching us so much. We appreciate you guys.
I tell you what, Mr. Pizzola better bring the team. I tell you what, I'm gonna give some love to everybody in this chat. So awesome, and I love the chat on this show. I tell you what, I watch some other like live content. The chats are always awful. The chat on this show, the people are locked in. The questions are great. Not a bunch of emojis and crap like that. So love the people we have supporting this show. So really enjoy it.
I do. This is a really good chat. I mean, they just get straight to the point, and that's what we do. We just keep firing away these games and opinions. Let's hope the opinions start winning here in October as we change the calendar month over.
That would be nice.
That would be nice. I think we can do better on the viewership if we start winning.
If we go 10-0, yeah. If we have, we can sweep a card. I tell you what, we'll probably break that record again. Yeah. And the chat will be a little uplifted too.
Yeah, let's hope. We can do this. Michael in the chat, Missouri LSU over. That's the only way. I bet it. That's the only way I could go watching LSU this year. What say you?
I did not get involved. I actually, I saw some, that could tick down a bit.
I got as high as 65. I want to say.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there was a move on the under 65. I don't have a real case here, and I know the sport trade they're pretty sharp. They're kind of leaning to the under. I have really no case for the under. Other than just maybe it's one of those games where everybody thinks it's going to go over, it goes under. Both defenses, LSU's defense especially, just absolutely miserable. All of their advanced metric stuff is in the bad MAC team range.
Yeah,
and their offense has been electric. So I don't. I don't really have a good reason. If you're going to bet over, hey, go for it. It's just one I didn't get involved in.
Mr. Oklahoma, Mike Vivian in the chat, just bet Oklahoma and collect your money. I'm not there.
That's Dan Campbell, sir. That's Detroit Lions Dan Campbell, I think you're thinking of, Mr. 70% ATS since he became a head coach, not Oklahoma. So, hey, Mikey V, USC next week, baby. Lincoln Riley +3. Grab yourself some of that. You'll want it. Super chat for Zachy Phil super chat here.
Money line on BP versus Collins street fight.
I tell you what, this is a great question. Because I thought we were heading there before they, hashed it out in Vegas. I thought maybe it'd be like a Paul, the undercard on one of the Paul brothers fights with BP and C-Dub going at it. Man, I think honestly, it's like pickish. I gotta tell you, two little Midwest, over in the South. Hey, little scrappy BP baby. Don't let him have a little too much bourbon. We'd be going at it.
Yeah, I think it'd be a pretty even fight. I don't know. I don't know how. I haven't been in a fight since elementary school, so I don't know. I don't know if Colin's been in a fight. So yeah, I don't know. I'm a little nuts, so I don't know how I'd react. To be honest with you, I would not fight
Hey,
fair. It would be,
next time, the in Vegas, enough whiskey. Maybe we can have Benson put it up, at Circa there
yeah,
for a line.
I would not fight fair. I'll just put it that way. Let's keep it going here. Thanks for the super chat. We appreciate that. Hopefully, we haven't decided. Hopefully, that's going to Zach.
Yeah.
Of all
Keep Zach Phillips here. Living. He's having to do all that. We're hey, anytime you got to do a show with Moretto, you're not getting paid enough.
Gabriel in the chat. Will an A&M +3 come back? If it does, it'll get bought up quickly, in my opinion. I think we're sitting where we need to be sitting. 2.5 on Alabama.
Totally agree.
That's my opinion.
You'd have to be sitting there ready to hit the button if anybody flashed a 3. I think it stays 2.5, and kind of closes there.
Easy baby, 1988. Love that year. Great year. How y'all feel about NC State with the 6.5 against Marshall? I laid it. I like NC State. I like the Wolfpack. I like the change to MJ Morris. Other people don't like the change to MJ Morris. I like it for 1 week. I think you get that 1 game bump at least for them. And I think they'll take Marshall seriously. A couple reasons. Number one, NC State's off a loss, a couple extra days to prep after, or 1 extra day after the Louisville game last week. Marshall's unbeaten. Marshall already beat an ACC team. So NC State for me. You disagree?
We were head to head on this one Monday. And
we are. Yeah,
so,
and tailgate came in on my side. Smart man.
He did. But looks like it's gotten bought back down there a little bit. So hey, looks like some Marshall buyers out there. Listen, I don't buy the hype in MJ Morris. And if he dances all over my grave on Saturday, he was a middling recruit. He's a guy who they've been calling for because of like the fan base is like the backup. It's the backup QB phenomena where like he's gonna come in and save us and be unstoppable. Yada yada. I don't see it. I don't see them laying a touchdown here. I think he's a very maybe a little bit more athletic. But Brennan Armstrong was running all over the place, and so I know he was turning the football over. But I don't think MJ Morris opens this offense up. I don't think they have any good players on offense. So. I'm going Herd for me. So a good little head-to-head here on the show. It's about time we had one this week.
Tyler in the chat, Ohio State first half -11. I actually do lean that way, Ohio State first half. For no other reason that there might be a shock to Maryland's system for, an increased talent that they played this year. Wow, you can even get 10.
I was going to say, my only advice would be don't bet 11 since all I see is 10 and 10.5.
Yeah. So, I would lean towards the Ohio State side. Haven't bet it yet. Again, under for that one. Let's hope that Joey prop cash on that one. So obviously the McCord under passing yardage there. Drew in the chat. How about Cyclones? We just talked about this one. Iowa State. I can't get to the window on Iowa State. We love the over. And we got some CLV, baby, on that one. Hopefully we win. You guys like Arkansas team total over? I can't get there. I don't know what to expect. It looked like they were starting to run out of steam last week, Knish. I know you see 24 on the board, but there was a non-offensive touchdown there. They didn't do much. They had 175 yards and somehow had 24 points against A&M. Oof.
Yeah,
I can't do it, even though Ole Miss's defense sucks.
I agree. I'll be honest with you. I would only bet the under there. I agree. We talked about the offensive line reshuffle. Ole Miss's run D is actually okay. Up front, which I think if Arkansas wants to have success, Dan Enos is a freaking bum. I wouldn't.
Yeah, bum. He's, emailing students. Unbelievable. On Sunday night.
I think it's going off the rails. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see Arkansas this be a
3-9 year
funeral game here where they just get completely trucked, 45-13 type deal.
Don't disagree. William in the chat, Toledo -19 against UMass. The weather would keep me off the favorite here. I kind of like the over, but weather says no. So kind of a pass for me. Did you bet the game?
I joined our friend the tent on the under. When he gave that out, that's the only play I got. I think it was 58.5, 59. A little bit of buyback up to 56, 57. Yeah, I don't listen. I've been off the UMass. We've been off the UMass train for a few weeks here.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to their defense. In terms of I thought this Don Brown aggressive scheme could come into there. It has fallen. Not like they've had a ton of talent, but holy cow, has that defense fallen off a cliff this season. So yeah, I don't have it. And Toledo love to keep it on the ground, the running clock and all that, yada yada. So yeah, nothing for me there.
Super chat again. Drunk driver H3. Love it. $4.99. Love it. Going to Zach there. He can buy himself a $5 footlong. Prediction for the opening lines. William and Mary, Virginia Howard at Northwestern. Holy hell. This is probably worth a little bit more than $5. But I mean, Jesus. Let me look here. I plan on betting both underdogs. I'll put it that way. I probably shouldn't be giving this away. I would expect the Virginia line. Well, I mean, you want me to predict what my line is or what I think it's going to open up at? Because if they copy the 5 dimes line, which they do oftentimes, right now Virginia's trading at 13.5 as a favorite. I would bet William and Mary at that number, even though I haven't liked William and Mary. And then the other 5 dimes line was Northwestern, 29.5. I would bet Howard at that number. That's all I can give you for $5. Was that fair?
Yeah, no, I think that's I don't know if I'm there on William and Mary under the 2 TDs there. And
you should be, because it'll close less than that.
The Northwestern redemption here tour. Yeah, we'll see. I don't have too strong of up here. I got I usually get my crossover and FCF stuff from other sources, so I can't give you too much on that. Listen to BP if you like those.
Both dogs there at those numbers. And the market has copied those numbers. At least they do in the FCS versus FCS games. We'll know more in a few hours when Circa opens those lines up. But my game plan right now it can all change. They can post a ridiculous number, but I am planning to bet both underdogs on those. And if there's one thing I've been really good at, it's been the FCS this year. I mean, anything else has been abysmal. Patrick in the chat, do you got any more props, Joey props, before we close out the show here? We got about 10 minutes left, about 10 more questions. You got one?
I was looking on the UNC Syracuse game, but the uncertainty of Schrader's kind of got me a little. Do you have the Knish Moles don't have a great idea on Schrader? Do you have anything on?
Oh wow, you heard some things? I heard some things too that I was like, huh? Like, give me some more information. I didn't know anything about that. I don't have anything concrete.
I don't have anything. I tell you what, if he's playing, I would play Syracuse at 10. But there's been some concussion protocol putting out there. So if he's not playing, then that's a no. Because I tell you what, when Tez Walker got announced in and this moved up.
What's he worth? 1.5?
I was like, the guy hasn't played in a year and a half, and he's worth 1.5 points. But then some more info started leaking out that Mr. Schrader and some of the other Syracuse injuries. So that one just kind of going to let marinate for the moment and see where it's at. I tell you, franchise liked for tonight the Anthony Grant, I believe it was, rushing over. I think that's why I didn't want to give it. I think it got bet up a little bit. But the Anthony Grant rushing over for Nebraska was another one that Mr. Franchise co-signed. The only reason I didn't bet on the show, I think it's up like 10 yards from where we bet it. So I didn't. If you still, we'll see what's out there, Zachy. What do we got? That really got steamed up.
Yeah.
If you got 65.5, that would be okay there. Anything worse than that, leave it off. So yeah, that's why I didn't go to that one. Oh, that's Willie. I wanted your opinion on this. Man Jose versus Boise.
Oh my God. I bet Boise, but it was a stupid number. Something tells me though, San Jose State. Something tells me this is just gut, not power ratings, nothing. San Jose State's live, like outright.
I agree.
Yeah.
I like San Jose State. I bet some 10. I know there's only one shop out there, so obviously we won't give it out.
There.
Yeah. If you got access there, a slightly juiced 10. I bet the slightly juiced 10. I agree. Money line round robin me, baby. I'm putting the Spartans in there.
You got one of those round robins? Because I think that's a good candidate.
I wish, you know what? Our money line round robin extraordinaire has been in the south of England trying to keep this Crawley run going. So I haven't had time to talk to him. Also, as we mentioned last week, the further you get into the season, the less the less variance you get on some of those money line dogs. But I do like the Spartans this week if you're putting one together. Not the Michigan State.
Bet those money lines in
San Jose State part. I don't put Michigan State in anything except for unless they're Urban Meyer. Do you believe in that?
I don't know. I mean, I know Bernie quite well. Bernie broke the news. Bernie Fratto.
Yeah. Because some people
and he does know Michigan stuff. I'm telling you in the past, I'm not saying this because I know him and he's a friend. I'm just keeping it real. He has known stuff about Michigan State at certain times in the last few years, like weeks before it breaks. So I'll just say that. I don't know about the Urban thing, though.
I would be surprised if it happened. It wouldn't surprise me if he, at any time, especially when you're shopping for a deal, whether you're in media or stuff like that, you can tell Fox that, I'm talking to Michigan State. You keep your name in. A lot of coaches that are doing those shows love doing that. Keep your name in the media, keep your name. So I would doubt if he actually took it and the deal closed, but it wouldn't surprise me if they actually talked to him. Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure that maybe a phone call at least happened. Why not? Speaking of phone calls, that story gets more and more interesting with Mel Tucker. Yeah. As the world turns there, I'm sure Michigan fans are just enjoying the hell out of that as the recruiting class falls to pieces. Jonathan Reed, speaking of Michigan, -2.5 against Penn State on the road. What do you think about that one? I didn't go there. I know that's been the look ahead pretty much for all season. That's been the look ahead since February. Yeah, that slight fave in that game. I would slightly lean that way, but I don't think you're getting any value there. I think that's about kind of where the number will be. So yeah, I know Harbaugh's had a really good track record against Franklin since he's been at Michigan, but it's not one like I would be running to bet that look ahead because I think the number will be in that range when it gets to game week. Let's get to 5 or 6 more here as we close it out. Jimmy, Florida State -23.5. My numbers say Florida State's the play. I respect. There's multiple groups that I respect on Virginia Tech. Are you part of the Virginia Tech love? That's another Friday steamer that I know our boy the Tent was on Virginia Tech. I know some other people that like Virginia Tech. The serious Friday money bought up some FSU 23s earlier today. So they took Florida State? Yeah. So it's just kind of a back and forth one. All right. I kind of lean Florida State. Well noted. Jonathan in the chat. Oh, wow. I'm excited about this. Let's get a day in the life of Joey K today. Day in the life of Joey K. I was actually across the border earlier in Pizzola and Phillips land for a little bit. And then got back, took the dog for a walk, doing the show, a little bit of kiosking later. And then I'll be sitting in to watch Illinois, Nebraska, and I'm probably not going to watch too much of the other game, but I'll be in for Illinois, Nebraska, and a little Ivy League tonight. So, Joey Global's been 2 countries today so far. Love it. Jacob in the chat. Thoughts on you, Lafayette? I tell you what, unless he better be picking up the check if I'm going to lunch with Moretto. I'll tell you that. Love it. Jacob in the chat. Thoughts on you, Lafayette this week? I'm not there. Texas State's very high variance game. I could see Lafayette losing by 14, winning by 28. I'm not there on the game. Did you bet UL Lafayette? I know Tent loves it. Yeah, Tent obviously gave it out earlier in the week. I see a lot of people in the chat, hyping up Texas State. I don't know. Texas State is I agree with you. ultra high variance game. High total. Both teams that have played at a bunch of different levels. Texas State 1 week looks like they're. I saw some of the places had them like Sunbelt favorite this week in the futures market. I don't know if I'd be making that bet. Yeah, I don't have a real strong opinion. The chat likes themselves some Texas State. I don't have a real strong opinion on it.
I like that Zion Chris kid for UL Lafayette, the new quarterback. I like what I see from him. Zach in the chat, favorite money line underdog. A short one or a long one? I think long one. We gave it San Jose State. That's just a gut on me on that one. I'll have to think of another one. A shorter one. Do you got one? I really don't. I'm not. I'm just gonna be totally honest. I'm not in love with this card. We just gave out a ton of best bets.
Arizona State for me. If you still got, there's a
yeah. That's the one. That's
plus
the
140, plus 145 still out there.
Yep.
I don't think Colorado should be a road chalk against a conference opponent that's like not Stanford. So yeah, that'd be one out of the shorter ones I like.
Joey K to save the day. Yep, that is the one. Thoughts on Western Michigan, Mississippi State over 55.5? You know what? I didn't play this one as far as the total. I did lay. Man, I'm just calling me BP chalk. I laid it with Mississippi State earlier in the week, and I saw that there was a move today that a lot of the 20.5s got bought up, but I see a few there still. But I like Mississippi State. Tell me I'm nuts here.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you what, if they don't get to this number, boy, oh boy, the heat there in Mississippi State's going to be pretty high. I don't know. Western Michigan has kind of overperformed the last few weeks a little bit.
They have
a little better. The mid-year trip to an SEC opponent, though, I agree with you. Now it's been weird because the side's bought up, but the totals come down a bit. So little bit of oppo correlation there. I don't really have much here. I would be surprised if Western Michigan could have a lot of success. Yeah, I could only lay it, but the number's gotten a bit away now.
Yeah, just a few weeks ago, Western was at Iowa getting 28. Iowa -7 against Mississippi State. Who you betting? I hate Mississippi State this year. Give me Mississippi State. Speaking of Iowa, contrarian pick here for me. Iowa -2. McNamara to me isn't worth that much.
I kind of lean that way. I think they'll be able to run the ball on Purdue. And I agree. If anything, Deacon Hill can give you a little bit more mobility out of the. McNamara,
a little more juice than what McNamara had all year.
I agree. You had mentioned it too earlier in the week. He was not healthy this year. They brought him back, and I don't think he's been 100% all year. And ever since that spring injury or the fall camp injury, he did not look right. And he couldn't move, and he didn't have a lot of zip on the ball, and he's limping around out there. So I like credit for ever gutting through it, but their offense was absolute crap with him. So yeah, I agree. I don't think there's much of a downgrade with potential for an upgrade.
Should have been playing. Watch the Western Michigan.
I agree.
It was uncomfortable to watch. It was like, you're watching I don't know, your grandpa is trying to do something and he's just over the hill and shouldn't be doing it anymore. That's what it felt like watching Cade McNamara. Oof.
It was like sheer desperation out of the Ferentz brother and him wanting to be out there. I agree. He should not have been playing. And then now it's cost him the season again.
3 more here before we sign off. Austin in the chat. Mertz over 207.5 pass yards. I'm not there on that. Are you?
No, I'm not. Again, I know we played obviously Vandy in the show. Again, Vandy's defense isn't great. I'm not going to try to talk you off it there, but I think it'd be one where Florida really wants to, run the ball on Vandy and take advantage of the front as opposed to Mertz throwing it all over the place. So I didn't bet it either way.
Kyle in the chat. How about a happy belated birthday shout out to BP? Happy birthday, Kyle, or BP, or whoever that is. Chuck in the chat. Did you guys get to the window on Rutgers? I didn't. I missed it. I wanted to give out Rutgers. I see Dr. Bob gave it out. I agree with Dr. Bob. Rutgers plus 14 was the play.
No, missed it myself. So yeah, didn't get in there. Needed 14 and a half to get involved. So didn't get it. Nothing for me there.
That's going to do it. I got to tell you guys, broke a record, 562 plus viewers. bunch of super chats, bunch of likes, bunch of best bets. I'll tell you what, before we sign off, let's just recap the best bets because we gave out a ton on the show here. If you could do that, Zach, I know you're ready to close up, but if we can run through the best bets here. Army -2.5, that was today's show there. Kyle McCord, Joey props there, love it. With a little bit of weather, and Ohio State wanted to smash Maryland's at the point of attack. Under in the red, and you want some action in the big game this weekend. Under 61, Oklahoma, Texas. Temple +14.5. That was today. UCLA -3. If you're going to blame somebody on that one, blame me. We do have some CLV there. Over 51.5. That was today's show. Arkansas State, Troy. Fundamental change at quarterback for Arkansas State. Vanderbilt +19. Also today's show. Arizona State +3.5. Today's show. Michigan -19.5. That negative CLV. That's on me. Blame me if it doesn't win. But I got to tell you, I like that bet quite a bit.
I'll be rooting for it.
Yeah, go blue. And then favorite bet that we made all week. Over 49.5. TCU, Iowa State over the total there. That was a Monday show. That'll do it. That was hot and heavy, man. I say this every week. I like our portfolio. Hopefully the gambling god can give us a winning week.
I was gonna say, baby, let's get it out. We need maybe I'll reverse jinx. Hate the portfolio. I'll say it out there. Even though I like, I'll put it in there so we get it. So hopefully, get back on track this week. And can chop it up Monday.
All right, that is the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Joey Knish. Thank you to all of you that have watched. For producer extraordinaire, I'm merely Brad Powers. You just watched Hit the Books, part of the Hammer Betting Network.